Hi everybody, welcome to another edition of His Turn, Her Turn. I'm Paul Bryan, your humble and obedient servant, along with...
Paul Fix the third, spawn of Elfix.
Spawn of Elfix. Lauren is on a dangerous mission this week at Pebble Beach.
Yeah, so we decided to take over for her and drive the brand new 2017 Kia Cadenza, and they've completely reworked everything.
Yeah, they really have. The interesting thing about the Kia Cadenza, and moreover the interesting thing about the brand that we need to talk about, is that if you were to look at this brand when you were only this high...
Yay tall.
Yeah, yay high to a grasshopper, as they say. 20 years ago, if you were to look at the J.D. Power initial quality surveys, there was nobody below you if you were Kia. And they decided to invoke the first rule of holes. Do you know what it is?
Dig?
No. The first rule of holes is when you find yourself in one, stop digging.
Oh, yeah.
So that's what they did. At that time, Kia sold two vehicles. They sold a Sportage and they sold the Kia Sophia, which has gone on to its great reward in automotive heaven at this point. Or actually, if you were to look at it, maybe it went the other way. We don't know for sure.
Now there's 8 models in their lineup, and they're number 1, J.D. Power initial quality. So
what a story.
Really come a long way.
Yeah, what a story. When you think about all of the brands, and when you say they're number 1, they were number 1 in front of Porsche, in front of BMW, in front of Mercedes-Benz, in front of all of the guys who used to wave that quality stuff in front of you and say, look at us, we are number 1, yeah. But guess what? Kia wound up as being the number 1 car in the industry, and that's commendable. Now, how did they go about doing that? They said, first we have to go ahead and build a quality car. We have to change what we're doing. We have to bring style to it. We have to enter segments that we haven't participated in before, and we have to expand the line. So they went about a long, they were playing chess. They weren't playing checkers.
Right.
As soon as the founding fathers put the country together 250 years ago or whenever it was, they said, let's make the nation's capital in Virginia. And then they started meeting here in summertime, and they quickly discovered that Virginia is really no place to be hanging around in August. It is more hot and humid than the inside of an old gym shoe here in August, and it's good reason for everybody to get the heck out of town. But what that does is give opportunity for a drive program out here in the East, and we do that far too infrequently. It seems like we're always going west to drive cars, and I got to tell you, here in the Shenandoah Valley of Virginia, and we're, I don't know, an hour and a half, 2 hours west of D.C., there are some remarkably fun roads here. There is ample room to provide a lot of the things that luxury buyers are looking for. It's actually a pretty fun car to drive. That you want in the car. From a performance standpoint, you're looking at a V6 engine, about 295 horsepower, torque in the 250, 260 range, really adequate, very, very good. So there's no question on power. The only thing that I got that I was kind of disturbed by is when we were on the interstate, it seemed like the cruise control was a little too aggressive in trying to be spot on. If you had it set for 65 miles an hour, it was going to hold you at 65. It was going to advance you to there and back down. Now you're probably saying, well, Paul, that's what it's supposed to do. I get that, but you can do it with subtlety. It can be more of a velvet hammer than a chisel. It's incredibly quiet. It's wonderfully quiet in here. They've upped the structural rigidity 20% on the vehicle. They've gone to a lot of adhesives. For a long, long time, heck, for more than a century almost, cars were put together with spot welds and bolts and stuff like that. Now we've gone to structural adhesives, and it really stiffens up the entire car. And I've had of people write to me and they say, how come you're so high on these adhesives, Paul? You know, aren't they less strong than bolts and spot welds? Well, let me put it to you this way. The plane that I flew here in, built by the Boeing people, is held together by adhesives, not by bolts and spot welds. So if it's okay for me to strap my behind in to fly here, it's going to hold the car together very nicely. All of the interior appointments are really first grade. They've used leather nicely. The treatments that they've done on the seats with the quilting on the seats, I really enjoy an awful lot. You know what? I'm really enjoying this road a lot. This is great. We're on I'll show you a little sign here at some point where it says Virginia Byway. And I guess we were on the highway and now we're on the byway, right? So coming into the Camp Roosevelt Recreation Area, and because that means we're on federal property, that means the ticket values go up because now you're into a federal offense, and number two, it's a federal thing, so it can no longer be fun. So with that, I'll turn it over to Paul 3, and P3 will tell you what he thinks about the car.
As Mr. Bryan stated, we're here in the rolling hills of Virginia, and I'm quite happy with that. On the way down to our halfway point, we went through the Shenandoah State Forest, and there was this really lovely, mostly downhill, I would call it twisties if you're a fan of minis. And it really showcased the new suspension that they added to the brand new Cadenza. So essentially what it does is stiffen up the suspension and switch it to a separate oil reservoir when you hit a pothole or under aggressive cornering, which makes the ride a lot smoother and allows you to actually take corners at the speed that you're going. So I really appreciate that fact. It makes a car that has this very refined luxury feel to it have this little tinge of sportiness. And I think that's important for any vehicle that's in the entry luxury class, which I believe this is about where the Cadenza fits in. But as I've said in the Hyundai Genesis review, you get a lot for your money, and I think this is a good contender for that vehicle. And I can't wait to see how this does in the market. Kia right now is incredibly strong. They mentioned in their presentation that they're number one for JD Power and quality, which is fantastic. And I think they've really done well in the last 20 years since they've been in the country, really expanding. And this is a really well-made car. I'm not entirely happy with some of the things like the cruise control, which Mr. Bryan mentioned, and some of the settings are hidden for some of the safety features or some of the adjustments for driving style, and I've yet to find them, but I'm sure they're somewhere. And ease of use is very important, and I think they need to work on that a little bit. But the whole car as a package is very streamlined, it's very beautiful, and the systems are easy to use. One of the things I thought was really interesting was the headlight and taillight design. We were talking with the designer of the Cadenza, and he was saying that the headlight Z and the taillight Z actually carries along the car, and you can see this little fold in the metal all along the doors that connect the front and back, which I think makes it look very simplistic and beautiful, which I'm sure does something for aerodynamics. And I think they've put together a really well-made car. And that's my 2 cents.
Well, as you can tell, we really enjoyed this car an awful lot. It punched above its weight in terms of the performance that we were able to realize from the car. From the styling standpoint, the comfort standpoint, your mother isn't here, so I'm going to let you go ahead and give the report on the lumbar support, because I know that anybody who watches us and subscribes waits for the lumbar report.
So there is full lumbar support on the driver's side, but it's a bit lacking on the passenger side. There's only forward and backwards, but you can't adjust up or down to find the exact place in your back where you might need that extra support. And I think it's important that the passenger seat is just as comfortable as the driver's seat.
Okay.
And they missed out a little bit on that.
All right. The only thing that you know what the problem is? when we start reviewing cars and critiquing cars is that things are so good in the center that you have to start nibbling around the periphery in order to find things that you go, well, hell, I'm a critic. I'm supposed to criticize something.
Right, and the Cadenza is a pretty solid car. And it's got a
way
lot
beyond
to it.
solid, I think. You know, and what I came away with was a little bit of fine-tuning that needs to be taken care of in the cruise control. And the only other thing is that when I reach for the radio, I actually hit the climate control button.
Right.
You know, but again, if you own this car and you're in this car for more than the day that we spend in it, they're going to become very second nature to you. So, you know, disregard my niggling little bitching about it. I can say bitching, can't I?
Sure.
I think so. So nevertheless, I think that's our takeaway on this. Any final thoughts, sir?
No, I think I'm pretty happy with the vehicle.
Okay, and I'm happy to hear that. Now, we're going to go ahead and invite everybody to subscribe. Just click right up here on that subscription thing. We'd love to have your comments down here on the bottom. You can find me at ThePaulBryan. That's what I tweet at, and also at ThePaulBryan.com. If you would, please subscribe right up here to where it says subscribe. We'd love to have your comments as well if you would put those down at the bottom of the screen. We read them all. We try to answer as many as we possibly can. And so from a very sweltry Virginia, we will bid you adieu for this time until next time. So long, everybody.